Happy Thursday and welcome to another edition of Vlog Moms. We are a group of moms who video blog about our lives and the matters that are important to us. This week we have been challenged to talk about a moment in our lives that changed us forever. This week, for the moment that changed my life forever, I'm going to talk about something that is hard to talk about but needs to be talked about. And I'm just hoping that it will help other people out there. The moment that changed my life forever. It was one moment, but I have to kind of give you the backstory in order for you to understand this moment and why it had such a profound impact on my life. My son Daniel is our oldest son. He is number 2 in our gaggle of 7 children, and it has been difficult to parent him. I love him to death, but he has always had emotional issues, and he has been diagnosed as early onset bipolar, and so his moods greatly vacillate between hyperactive and being very joyful and overly elated to being completely angry and volatile and hateful and violent. So that's something that we've always had to deal with. But the way this came about was, it started really when he was about age 8. The year that Daniel turned 8 was a very difficult year for us. My grandfather passed away earlier that year, right after Daniel turned 8. It was very difficult for me. I was already in a bit of a depression. We had just filmed Super Nanny, and it aired that March, which was also difficult for Daniel Jr. because he did not appreciate having cameras in our house. It was very hard for him. So he was already having trouble dealing with that. Then he had to deal with his mom being depressed, which he is an emotional sponge like I am, so he absorbed a lot of that without me even realizing it. Also, what happened that year was he was attacked by my mom's dog. His lip had to be sewn back on by a plastic surgeon, kind of reconstructed, and that was a very traumatic event. So he was suffering from post-traumatic stress, which I wasn't even aware of, and that summer he just started getting very suicidal, very depressed, and it got to the point where he tried to take his own life. When that happened, Daniel Sr. and I realized that the situation was beyond what we could do for him. We had already tried therapy, and we had already tried medication, and we just weren't getting the answers that we needed, and we felt like it was time to do whatever it took to get him the help, and that meant admitting him to Loma Linda Behavioral Health, which is a ward of the hospital over in Loma Linda. It's an excellent hospital, and it deals with mental health. That was by far the hardest week of my life. Daniel was in there 5 days. We got to see him for 1 hour. We got to talk to him on the phone one time, the whole time he was in there, 1 time per day. He hated, he begged, he cried. Leaving him there was horrible. So while we were in the hospital, we were coming down the elevator, and I was crying my eyes out, of course, as any mother would. And I was feeling terrible, and I was wondering where I had gone wrong and how I had failed as a mother, and just really feeling like my kid doesn't belong here. He's not a mental case. He's not, he's a sweet little boy. He doesn't want to be like this. He doesn't want to do this. This is not my kid. And I was just in such denial, and that was when this life-changing moment happened. Another parent who was in the elevator with us, he had a child there as well in the Loma Linda Behavioral Ward. And he looked over at me and he said, "None of us want our kids to be here. None of us feel like our kids deserve to be here." And that was my light bulb moment. That man will never know how much it meant to me that he said that. Because I realized in that moment when he said that to me, that I am not alone, that there are parents out there every single day just trying to do their best to help their children. I guess the takeaway from this is to reach out to other parents, people who are hurting, people who maybe don't have the same knowledge that we do, and just let them know that it's okay. It's okay to talk about things. It doesn't have to be the elephant in the room, and support each other in our struggles as parents, because we're all just trying to do the best that we can for our kids, and that we love them. At the end of the day, we love them.